Are console generations even necessary anymore? You know, home gaming used to follow a very simple pattern. Every 4 or 5 years, console makers used to show up and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we now have more bits."
$599 US.
And everybody went,
"Shut up and take my money."
$599 US.
We went from more bits to polygons to dynamic lighting to ray tracing. From 480i to 1080p to 4K at 60 frames per second and beyond. Every generation felt like a leap. And with every leap, there was something new to be excited about. But lately, I've been asking myself a very dangerous question. Do console generations even matter anymore? And I think the answer might be not in the way they used to. When I got into gaming in the 1980s, my very first console was the Sega Master System. And I didn't even know what console generations were. I just knew this thing plays games. I like games. Life's good. And then the Sega Genesis came out, and then I thought, oh, so this is what the rich kids play. But I didn't really understand the logic of console generations completely, and that they actually happened. Not until the end of the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation life cycle. That's when it clicked, and I was like, oh, they do this on purpose. But back then, every jump was dramatic. From the Genesis to the PlayStation, we went from 2D games to 3D games. From PlayStation to Dreamcast, we went to millions of more polygons, facial animations, fingers, and yes, VGA output so you can see how blurry a CRT actually was. And Dreamcast to PS2. That wasn't really a console generation skip, but it's how I went and progressed. Those had bigger games, more space thanks to DVDs, and open worlds really started to become mainstream in that era. Then moving from PS2 to PS3, widescreen, HD gaming, and massive jumps in detail. Each generation felt like, okay, now we're in the future. And you know, I used to have a joke as kids when the Sega CD came out and I got it. It was like, this is unlimited graphics. It never gets any better. I was so wrong. But then we get to the modern era, or more modern. PS3 to PS4, PS4 to PS5. And yes, similar with the Xbox and Nintendo systems. And don't get me wrong, these are powerful machines, but the jumps just didn't feel the same anymore. Different hardware used to mean different graphics, different mechanics, sometimes completely different versions of the same game. Now, whether you're on PC, PS5, or Xbox Series X, you're technically playing the same game with only slightly different tweaks in graphics. And the biggest difference isn't even the graphics anymore. It's the platform experience. And that brings me to two revelations that I've had. Portable gaming matters now more than ever. PC gaming is becoming the next logical step. Okay, let's talk about portable gaming first. The PS Vita was the last portable gaming device that I purchased. And at the time, the Vita was impressive tech. But the industry pretty much said, yeah, this isn't going to work. Because if people wanted portable games, they were either playing with their Nintendo 3DS or playing games on their phones, which they still do today. Fast forward more than 10 years later, and Nintendo pulled off something brilliant. They proved two things. First, portable gaming is absolutely here to stay. Second, console and portable gaming can be done on the same device. The Nintendo Switch didn't just replace handhelds, it replaced Nintendo's home console too. And that changed everything for developers. Because now, instead of only making games for consoles that only a portion of their audience held, they were developing games for the main Nintendo platform. And it was portable. That builds trust. Developers trust the install base, consumers trust the brand. And when you trust both sides of that equation, you get massive adoption and massive success. And now, players expect that flexibility. Play on the couch, play on the train, play on your lunch break, then dock it on the TV and play it at night. Once you experience that, it's very hard to go back. Now let's talk about the real industry disruptor, the Steam Deck. What if PC gaming became portable and affordable? And yes, there were other handheld PCs before it, but none of them hit the price to performance like the Steam Deck. But more importantly, it solved one of PC's most important problems to solve. You see, consoles have always had one big advantage: fixed hardware. Developers know exactly what they're working with. Players just turn it on, press start, or press any button, and begin playing with loading times. PC gaming, on the other hand, you could have two people playing the same game with completely different gaming results. Different GPUs, different CPUs, different drives, different settings. And for the PC gamers out there, they love it. They love to tweak those things. But console players, at least most of them, they just want the game to work. So what did Valve do? They helped encourage developers to create Steam Deck settings, or just developers did it on their own. Now, which helped bring about PC gaming feeling a lot more like console gaming, because you'll have your predetermined settings right there when you start your Steam Deck. You can turn it on, pick your game, and go, just like consoles. And SteamOS helps kind of hide that PC complexity and make it more like a console experience, but it allows you to tweak those settings if you wish. So now you got console style simplicity, PC level flexibility, and a gaming library that's massive and follows you everywhere. And here's the genius part. They sold you a portable entrance into their store.
Well, all right then.
Every time you buy a game, Valve wins. Developers want their games on Steam. Players trust Valve to have a good platform. And unlike consoles, when you upgrade your hardware, your entire library comes with you and you can still play it. No rebuying, no backwards compatibility drama, no remastered edition for $70. Your games are just there. So now we have to ask the uncomfortable question. Do companies really need to continue to create consoles to make money? Because the old strategy was build your own hardware, lock down exclusives, then take a cut of every game sold on your hardware. But what if the future looks different? Imagine this. Sony stops making traditional consoles. Instead, you had the PlayStation Store be its own PC gaming platform. You still buy games from Sony's store. You still earn trophies. You still get PlayStation Plus perks, just like the old if you sign up for PlayStation Plus, and you still play with the PlayStation community. But the hardware, let it be handled by approved manufacturers. Maybe one home-based station, right? And then a portable station that you can play on the go, but that you can still connect your TV, similar to the Steam machine and the Steam Deck. But you're not locked into it. You can still, or should be able to still install this theoretical PlayStation app on your own PC or your own compatible portable system. With this, Sony keeps the store revenue and Sony keeps brand loyalty, but they no longer have to eat massive hardware developer costs. And honestly, the PlayStation brand at this point is strong enough to navigate through that transition, though it might disappoint a few fans at first. But let's be real, gamers don't buy new hardware just for its beautiful interior silicon, unless you're into that thing. They play the hardware because they're loyal to the good games on it. And that's really it. And I'll be completely transparent with you. Ever since I got my Steam Deck, my PS5 just gets used less and less. Not because it isn't a great system, but because the Steam Deck now just fits how I live nowadays. I can play on the couch, I can play on the go, I can dock it and use it as a controller. And I have access to so many games. And I can still stream the PS5 to the Steam Deck. I got it all. And to be real, when Metal Gear Solid Delta came out, Metal Gear being one of my favorite franchises, that and Shenmue, I bought it on the Steam Deck to play on my Steam Deck. Graphics didn't matter, but that's why I didn't buy it on a PS5. Honestly, for me, doing that has been a better experience. And that's why I think traditional console generations are becoming less and less important than ecosystems, flexibility, and access. But enough about what I think. Now I want to hear from you. Do console generations still matter to you? And I assume that most of you will say yes. And they kind of still do matter to me, but I don't know if that's the direction the industry is going. Or are you the other side where you're more interested in what games you can play and how you can play them, portable or on a TV? Let me know in the comments. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys next time.